Good to see you again. Well, I'll say one thing, that Hesse Eagle people really seem to really want to have this reunion, and I'm glad. I'm happy for that. We got a whole lot of people, as you've seen, respond very, very quickly, so I think we're going to give this the green light, and we actually are going to do this now. This is what we need you to do. We are probably going to put something out so you can RSVP, so we can figure out how many people that we're going to have, so we know exactly where we're going to have this thing. Now, there's been some talk about having it at Helmich Park in the springtime. However, this is going to be one time, one shot. I got 19 years of kids I got to put together that are all coming in. Matter of fact, I have people already texting me that they're coming up from like Georgia and stuff, that they would like to be a part of this. And so I want to make sure that there's some kind of certainty, because we had the 35B reunion for the class 76 from Mott, and that night it went down, if you remember, in October, the first week of October, it went down to like 40 degrees, and it was crazy rain. So what I want to do is make sure that we're under a roof somewhere. So as long as I can figure out how many people want to do this, that'd be great. And you know, the funny thing is, I've got nothing but wonderful stories from people who are texting me, and if you went to Hesse, chances are good your brother and sister went to Hesse also, so we should have a whole lot of people coming. Great. Make sure that your RSVP, we'll put that up for you. I definitely want to have it sometime probably in May, maybe June, not sure. We're going to have to finite those things. Great. Now what happened is that the weather kind of didn't cooperate with us, so what we want you to do is take a look at this one video. If you're a Hesse kid at all, you'll recognize some of these places that we went to this summer, to kind of look back where if you knew where Stroh's Ice Cream was, or maybe where Quick Pick was, or some landmarks around our house. We did videos, 3 in a series, of places that aren't there anymore, but I'm sure that you remember. So next week, you want to make sure watch this space. We got a video that's coming together for you, and I hope you'll enjoy it, because we think it's a whole lot of fun. So anyways, make sure, text me like you've been doing, or write something on the book. I'm always on Facebook for you. And this Hesse Eagle thing is definitely a go. We'll see you then. Early 60s or whatever, mid 60s, you recognize this place. It's Key Oldsmobile. It's been here for God knows how long. It had the coolest showroom. It had a whole panoramic view of 12 Mile, and there's a little drag strip here that you get to test out your new Delta 88. Of course, we're standing in the used car lot, which is the mini version of all this stuff. Unfortunately, of course, like GM, it fell on a little bit hard times. It went to being a Suzuki and an Aizu place, and then now it's empty. Behind me, we're at 12 Mile in DeQuinder right now, and this used to be, for those who can remember, this used to be a place called Child's World. Now, it was almost like a pre-runner to Toys R Us. All wild place. We were going up probably late 60s, early 70s. That was the only place that had a full-scale slot car track that you could go in, buy your HO car, whatever, and race around with. And they were also one of the very first people that had sporting goods and a toy store put together. It was an amazing place. Unfortunately, it was only with us for about 8 or 9 years before it stunk. But then again, right over here, there was a thing called the record stop. Now it had like a stop sign out front, but it was supposed to be a competition for Harmony House. Did pretty well with Peaches that came in and record stop, but unfortunately the record industry, the way it was in the mid-70s, kind of ate them up. Great place though. Hi, as you can tell behind me, or maybe you can't, that is the Federals that used to be part of the Universal City, which started as called Universal City back in '65. Those who remember this place had a mosaic out front of like the universe and all the different planets and stuff. However, funny enough, there's not any pictures of that anywhere. Nobody has one. It's kind of weird. Not even the people who own the place now. Of course, Federals being the last part of the anchors, and if you went north, as you remember, there was Ward's and all the little stores in between. Now, the funny thing, in the part of passage for just about any kid that lived around this neighborhood, is that you went here, your parents or you, when you got older, came up here with a friend, and just walked on a Saturday, up, down, all day long, 6-7 hours worth of just walking. You would have like a frozen Coke or a big pretzel from Woolworths, where that place, actually the Woolworth Grill, where it was kind of sunk down in the middle. Very cool. Or you went to Gell's Sporting Goods down there at the end, or Spencer's. Take a look at the posters when you were a little bit older. Or right next to that, which was Fletcher's. Now I, full disclosure, used to work here in my 11th grade year, 12th grade years at Jeans Galore, and that's not Pants Galore, that $5 ick crap place. I mean, Jeans Galore, we were a full Levi's store, I'll have you know. And we were next to the Cream Corn Hut and the Cobbler's, the guy who obviously fixed your shoes. It was a wild mall, and everybody knows it. Now your job is to name every one of the stores that were in there, but now we'll even give you something for bonus points. There was 5 places that you could buy records there between 1965 when it opened up and 1976. 5. I'll give you 2 of them. Of course, it'd be Ward's and Federal's. The other one was Woolworth's. You get 2 more to go. Those other 2. Kiddos. A wonderful place. Unfortunately, it got smashed down. Now it's some kind of strip mall-y kind of. They're trying to get it back together again, but it'll never be the same as when we were growing up. Right behind me, perhaps some of you recognize that this is the old Walker Chili Carnival. Now, Walker Chili Carnival, it's a strange place. There's a pinball place that had the first Pong machine around here to actually watch a little blip go between 2 little paddles, and you rocked your quarter and you were just totally amazed and hoped somebody else had enough money to play it so you could watch this Spice Age new kind of game. Pinballs in there galore. You could go from Mott to here for lunch. The chili wasn't all that great, but everybody called it Chili Carnival because really what else are you gonna call it? Many a date night in there, insane. And of course it was right next to Froling Lanes over here. If you were in gym at Mott between 73 and 76, that one time I should say, is that you and the rest of your PE class walked over to Froling Lanes and actually had that for gym for one day. You could actually do a couple games of bowling. Smelled like bananas every time you went in there. That's an interesting place. Clearly now, these places are just wonderful memories, but perhaps you have even more memories of Chili Carnival. Oh man, we do. Over my shoulder you can see is a place that's near and dear to anybody that lived at the 12 and Ryan subdivision. This used to be a great swamp where you could pick up a lot of pollywogs and all kinds of little aqua life. Then one day they made it into a thing called Chatham's. Now this is a very cool thing because not only did we have a supermarket that we didn't have to go to Great Scots for, but it actually had a supermarket side and it had a side that sold like clothes and towels and whatnot. I mean, think about that. Supermarkets selling all kinds of general merchandise together under one roof. How revolutionary. Will never happen again. However, Chatham was here for an awful long time, and then they built up the little outbuildings here that had a Rexall, and it had a National Bank of Detroit, an NBD. Here we are on my old street. Matter of fact, you probably recognize our old house there, the gray brick one. But across the street is Hesse, and that's where Hesse Elementary used to be for all the kids that lived in the neighborhood north of 12, south of 13, Ryan and Mound. Now, we had the biggest elementary school and the newest elementary school for the smallest amount of kids. We had, at one time, this was all woods, and then we had the golf course, which turned out to be a cemetery, and then half of it was the GM proving grounds. And so we had a little bit of kids in a big old school, and so Hesse was one of the very first elementary schools that weren't consolidated, shut down. Now, Hesse was dormant for a couple of years, and as you can almost tell behind me, they turned it into a condo. Right, that's what I want. I want where we played kickball, and if you had the kickball and kicked it into Trumbull's backyard or into Peter Reuter's backyard, it was a home run, except for you had to go shag it. And anybody in the Hesse subdivision knows shagging means you had to go over the fence, get the ball, throw it back. And so when we saw the Mike Myers movie, you know, The Spy Who Shagged Me, it was like the spy who had to go get the ball and throw it back. Okay. Anyways, I always thought it'd be kind of cool to go back here, and unfortunately Mr. Pank passed on a couple of years ago, but I'd always thought it'd be kind of cool to say, you know what, Pank, you taught there, but I bought that room. We're here in the Village Bourne, that was at one time the downtown they thought it was going to be. We're right in front of the Old Village Bakery. Now, unfortunately, the Old Village Bakery doesn't exist anymore. The sign's here, but they moved out a couple of months ago. But if you've ever gone in that place and just opened the doors, man, that wonderful smell of a perfect bakery. Now, here's a little side note. This was the only place in 1961 within a 1 mile radius that you could get a thing called pizza. And if you ever had the pizza here, delicious.